finally Friday, the 12th of April, 1996, and it's, what time is it? 10 o'clock in the morning. So, I got home late last night, and I go in 12 hours later, so, today I'm giving a sim ride to a brand new guy, so his local orientation sim, so I'll just teach him about all the local stuff in the area and give him some emergencies in the simulator. And this afternoon we have academics and meetings and all kinds of stuff, and we got a new guy in yesterday, so we welcome him tonight, and that's when we do all the Juvat traditions to him, and he feels humiliated and feels like a loser. It's kind of like a frat type thing, and the guy gets kind of mentally abused, just playing games with him. So maybe one day I can get some videotapes of one of our welcoming ceremonies. I think Scott O'Grady's book kind of talks about Juvat traditions and Juvat welcoming parties or whatever. So that's about it. See you tonight. Okay, just got home Friday night. It's not my stereo. I'll crank mine up here in a little bit just so I can add some sound into this place. But getting ready, just got home. It's a little after 6. Actually, it's 6:40. Went to the commissary today, so I got a lot of stuff I gotta kind of go through and do that kind of stuff. So I'm making some type of pasta tonight, some vegetable pasta. Some recipe I saw on Good Morning America. That's about it. See you. Well. It's Saturday afternoon. It's already been a full day of work. It's the 13th of April, and I went into work this morning, believe it or not, because we had to plan some missions, some real-world missions that most likely will never happen. But every year you have to replan all the war missions. And so that's what I've been working on this morning. It's Saturday, so working on Saturday is not my cup of tea. But we've got to have all this stuff done before we go to Alaska. So this Saturday afternoon, I am trying to balance my checkbook and trying to start getting things ready to go to Alaska as far as my personal stuff. And I'm going to go and buy my airline ticket today to come home. So I got to go do that too. So lots of little things, lots of little errands to run. So that's what I can export. That's what I do on my day off, is work. And tomorrow it's Sunday, and I got to go plan all my missions for next week. So, there's no life over here, that's for sure, except for flying. And that's what I came over here to do anyway, but it is sometimes nice to take a rest. So that's what my mid-tour is designed for, is rest. Because you don't get any rest over here. So, what do you think about the 7-year-old girl that they made a big deal out of, who was going to fly, be the youngest person to fly across the United States? Youngest person to fly across the United States. With an instructor in the right seat and her dad in the back, and she's not even a qualified pilot, so big media blitz, and then they crash and burn and die. What a bunch of idiots. I think it's cool though to try to fly across the United States like that. That's fine. I think that's really cool. Matter of fact, I'd like to do that with one of my kids one day if I ever have kids. But trying to make a media blitz, especially because it's a woman. She had the little thing across her cranium cover that said "Women Fly." So it's just a thing, the women's type thing, trying to prove that they can do something even when they're 7 years old. But I don't know anybody stupid enough to go fly in a thunderstorm in any kind of airplane. So to me, they deserved to die because they were stupid. And just like the people who died in the T-43 a few weeks ago, they were stupid. Shot an approach in bad weather in a storm to an airfield that didn't have proper facilities to navigate with. I just hope I never become stupid. So I do my best to try to stay alert as I can. And you know, when you say someone's stupid, well, let's say last night I didn't sleep well and I go and fly and I crash. Well, I was stupid because I made a mistake. So there's a lot of people out there who do stupid things and they die. So I just hope I never have a stupid day. Well, that's all for my soapbox for today, and I'll probably get this tape in the mail here pretty soon. So, see. Well, it's been another exciting day at Kunsan. It's still Saturday. Today the weather was pretty nice, but since I had to work, I didn't really get a chance to go out and enjoy the weather. I wanted to go mountain biking today, but I didn't get to. But after we finished our harm planning, I went to the squadron and did some work there. And while I was there, my operations officer, who he called me into his office. He was working today. Everybody works on the weekends, except on the weekends you just wear your civilian clothes to work instead of wearing a flight suit. But he called me into his office and he told me that he had selected me to be the next flight commander in line. So in June, which I'll be on mid-tour in June, but when I get back from mid-tour, then I will take over as one of the flight commanders in the squadron. So that was one of my goals here, is to become a flight commander. And so that's one answer to prayer. As far as my instructor upgrade program here, it's going real slow just because we got so many people upgrading to flight lead, and we've got enough instructors. So I will, it's just going to take a while. And with Cope Thunder in Alaska, Cope Thunder's the name of the exercise, and then with mid-tour, that's just going to delay it anymore. But it's no big deal because I'm in the program. I'm going to be a flight commander, and I'm going to Luke to be an instructor anyway. So I'm just going to try to enjoy the rest of the time I have here and try to learn as much as I can about how to be an instructor. And flying with all the new guys, brand new lieutenants right out of pilot training, right out of F-16 training, it gives me the opportunity just every day flying as a four-ship flight lead to teach them new things. Because now I have over 1,100 hours in the F-16, and I got about 20 hours more, and I'll have 1,500 hours total pilot time, which gives me enough hours to get my ATP or airline transport rating. So I'll get that when I get home, when I get to Phoenix. So I figured I would share that news of note. And then we're getting a new operations officer when we get back from Cope Thunder, who I know pretty well. He's a major. Now, let me first explain. Operations officer he's basically the head guy over flying operations within the squadron. And most of the time it's lieutenant colonels who have this job, but here at Kunsan it's usually senior majors who have this job, just to get them the opportunity to do that job, and then they can become lieutenant colonels a lot quicker. But the new operations officer has taken over. He is he was one of my instructors when I was at MacDill back in 1991. Wow, that's 5 years ago almost. And then he went and did a staff job out there at MacDill, and then he came here. So, and he's a Christian, which is going to be a new experience because I don't think I've had a Christian operations officer ever. And then I'll be one of the flight commanders, so I'll work directly for him, and then I'll have a bunch of pilots underneath me. And my job as a flight commander is to schedule them to fly and to take care of them, make sure they get the proper training they need, make sure they get the proper jobs and the proper attention. And I write their officer performance reports, which are, you know, one of the most important things on your records. So it's a good opportunity to excel, and several of the guys that will be in my flight, I really enjoy working with them, and there's a couple of Christian guys who will be on my flight. So overall, those guys I think will be lucky to have me and this other guy as their in their chain of command. I took some pictures. I got some recent pictures, and I'll show those in just a minute. And that'll be about it for today. See ya. This is the sign that's right outside our squadron door or building, and it's just like the original was back in Vietnam, I believe, is the way they did it this way. So a lot of tradition in our squadron all the way back to World War II in the Pacific. This sign here is hanging right inside the door to the squadron, and it's a copy of the one they had in World War II that hung in the entrance to the squadron back in the Pacific down in New Guinea, where the squadron had some of the top aces in World War II. And we still consider ourselves the hottest pilots in the world. Why not? I mean, we fly one of the hottest jets in the world, we might as well be the hottest pilots, right? This would have been a really cool picture if the flash hadn't reflected on the glass, but this is inside the tower, and this is just a couple of days ago when I was off, and I had some extra film, and the sunset was really nice. You can see there's a jet taxiing by, and when the jet taxis by, I have to snake them. That's our salute for the Juvats. And the guys on in the jets have to snake too, and if they don't snake me, then they owe me beer or Coke or whatever they want to give me. But I mean, that's just a traditional thing. Just, you know, you always say you owe me a beer or whatever. It's just a kind of a figure of speech for someone owes you something. But I sit at a console. All I've got is just a radio, and I have all the checklist and guides and stuff. But you know, just sitting right here, and out here, the beach area, the seawall is right here, and then that's water from the Yellow Sea right there, and then this is the sunset, as you can see, and that's basically it. It's pretty rare over here to even see a sunset like this. This is one of the first times I've seen a sunset while I've been here. So I had to pull the camera out and take a picture. And a jet's taking off, but he's kind of blurred. Here's another picture, and you can see the water out there. It actually looked like a really nice day. If it had been a lot warmer, and you wouldn't know you're in Korea, but that Yellow Sea is filthy because it's right now that water is 45 degrees. It was down to 40 degrees about 3 weeks ago. It's warming up now. But the Yellow Sea is pretty much stagnant. I mean, it's just, the water is full of sewage and everything else because Koreans dump sewage into it. The Chinese do it too. So it's just it's just a gulf, you know, that runs up between Korea, North Korea, China. And it's just full of human waste and everything else. These are some of the air traffic controllers that I work with when I'm up there. So they all get to know you pretty well, and then they know your call sign when they see you taxi out and stuff. So as a supervisor of flying, it's kind of a different perspective, because you sit up there in the tower and get to know those guys really well. So then if things go bad and the pattern, you can always go up there and complain to them. Another picture of that rare sunset. We took the photos the other day on the photo flight, and this is one of the jets that flew in the photo flight. I didn't fly this jet, I flew the other one that had a different loadout on it, but this one is the one we're going to use for our squadron lithograph, and it had different types of missiles hanging on it. So I got my picture taken in front of it. It's not a very good picture because the Koreans developed it, so what else would you expect? Something that's crappy. This is one of the vans that are driven by one of the lieutenants in the squadron, and as you can see, it's got the squadron patch on it. And we take this up to Seoul. It's kind of a, you get turns a lot of heads when you drive a vehicle like this to the middle of Seoul. It's kind of like Animal House in the movie, but the guy's name's Cujo, and he's got his name on the side of the door there. He's the lieutenant. That's the back of the van, and basically it's an old telephone company van that someone brought over. It says "What is good" on the back, and on Fridays and at the end of pilot meetings, when at the completion of the pilot meeting, the commander gets up and he says what is good, and everybody stands up and chants to crush your enemies and see them driven before you and hear the lamentations of their women, Juvats. And it's just a squadron camaraderie thing. But see this van driving through Seoul, people wonder. This is more of a typical day in Korea here. As you can see, no horizon, you can't even see the ocean, and there was sea fog, and it actually looked like smoke that was pouring right through this area here. I couldn't get a very good picture, but it was just smoke, but it was actually just fog. It was just pouring off the water, and I was supervisor of flying that day, so we were a little uptight, thinking we might have to divert some people, but everybody was still able to land. This is more like it here. This is the pamphlet for the mountain bike tour that I'm going on this summer up in Arizona, but you're awakened by unlimited visibility and really cool scenery, so something to look forward to. Basically, you camp out and stuff along the out in the wilderness, and then they've got a support vehicle that brings you can put your bikes on there, they can repair them, it's got your clothes and stuff you carry in this support vehicle. I think they have some kind of sun shower, and they have someone out there to cook gourmet meals and stuff for you. I'll just read you what it says about this tour, but the tour I'm taking is called the San Francisco Peaks to the Grand Canyon Tour. It says our riding each day ranges from 25 to 30 miles depending on the terrain. Most of the tour takes place in the low alpine region, which stretches taking us higher into the aspens and Douglas firs around the peaks. The scenery is spectacular in contrast to the mountains with the red rock canyons in the distance. There are plenty of photo opportunities, and riding is fun and challenging at times. Provide a trailside buffet and plenty of snacks each day, and breakfast and dinner in camp are delicious, healthy, and hearty. The Arizona camping tour meets at the Flagstaff Airport at 8 a.m. on the morning of departure. And basically you leave from there, and you load your gear onto the trucks, and they provide you with a continental breakfast that morning. It's right before you start riding. And it says you ride on the east side of the San Francisco Peaks. The ride circles around the mountains along the edge of the wilderness area, ending at our camp, which offers a great view of these peaks, which reach up to 12,643 feet. It says, don't worry, we don't get quite that high. The second day, they'll finish touring around the peaks and head for the old Moquis stagecoach route to the Grand Canyon. The trail follows jeep roads through ponderosa pine forest and open prairie on the way to the second camp. Day 3, continue on this historic route, first ridden by bicyclists in 1894 by the Kanakano Cycling Club. Today we get our first views of the Grand Canyon. We'll ride along the rim to take in the different views and try to comprehend its awesome depth, Our final day offers you the choice of riding trails outside the park or taking a hike down into the Grand Canyon before our afternoon shuttle back to Flagstaff. So that's basically just a little brief. Alright, it's Sunday the 14th of April. We have no water. The Koreans were working on our lines, and guess what? They busted one of our water lines. This happens all the time. So I have no water, so I can't take a shower, and I'm dirty because I worked out last night at the gym, and I'm sweaty, so it's just one of those things. This place, we don't have water, we don't have electricity half the time when you want it, so it's one of those enjoyable days. It makes you really appreciate the states for having water, having electricity, having clean water for one. There was a big newspaper article the other day about how clean the water was here and how they did taste tests between bottled water and the water here, and no one could tell the difference. And I can tell the difference because the water coming out of my faucet half the time has got a brown tint to it, so I'm telling what that does to your health. One of the guys in our squadron just tested positive for tuberculosis. You have to take the test before you leave, so you know, I was worried last time I was here, so of course I'll be worried till I leave here. I hope I don't test positive for tuberculosis. So that's it for today. See you. Today is the 15th April 1996. This morning started out at 4 o'clock and went to work at 5:30. Took off at 8:30, landed at 10:15, and we flew as a 8-ship package against, actually 10-ship package of F-16s, and we had 2 F-18 Hornets as our adversary. We flew a low-level mission. Threat reacted to the F-18s who was simulating that they were MiG-29s, and then flowed into the target area where we dropped Mark 82 bombs. They were inert bombs. They were just cement, basically, no fuse or anything, on a tactical target. So it's just cool mountain area. And down in the valley is a dirt runway with different targets and stuff around it. So you come popping up over a ridge line, and you don't see your target till right before you roll in. You roll in, hit your target, and you're off. And then on the egress, we were tapped by the F-18s again, and we killed them, and then we came home, and that was a 1.7-hour mission, so almost 2 hours of flying. And I came back and we debriefed our mission. So at 12:30 I was done with that, and then I went from there straight to the control tower to be the supervisor of flying for 3 hours. And I just got home. It's a little after 3, and I just came by to drop off something because I had to mail some stuff. Now at 4 o'clock I go to a meeting, get out of there at 5, and then I got to go mission plan, so I'll get out of there at probably 6:30 or 7. So that makes for a 14-hour day, and I'm already tired. So that's the life here at the Coon. See you tomorrow. Okay, just completed the day on the 16th of April, and today started out a little bit later than yesterday. Went in at 7:30 this morning. We flew in the afternoon. Finally today I had time enough to work my airline ticket, do some email, do some other stuff around the squadron, and then at 12:30 we had our briefing. We took off at 3 o'clock and we landed about 4:15. Then we started our debrief at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and finished at about 6:45. At that time I rushed to the Kunsan airport to pick up a friend who just flew back from mid-tour. So I know how that is to be coming back from mid-tour. Coming back here is no fun. After you've been here, you go home for a month and then you come back here for your last 4 or 5 months. And it's one of those kind of can't believe I'm back here type feeling. So he let me borrow his car for 2 weeks, so I figured the least I could do was pick him up at the airport. So tomorrow I'm not flying. I'm doing a sim at 10:30. I'm giving someone a emergency procedures evaluation practice, and I got to do life support training for seat training. Basically, for the ejection seat, we have to get current in that every 6 months. So I got to go sit in a ejection seat and just go through all the procedures. So we have to do that every 6 months. So that's another day in the life over at the Coon. See you tomorrow. Today is the 19th of April, and I'm a couple days behind on my VCR tapage for you. It's the end of the long week, and this morning, and the last few mornings, I've been getting up around 3:55 in the morning to get to work by about 5. And flown 5 times this week. That's about the standard, it seems like. So it tends to wear on you, especially after working last weekend. And this weekend's my last weekend before we go to Alaska, so I'm going to be in there working this weekend also on some stuff. So just constant stuff. So this afternoon I've got a few hours to do some stuff, to work on a briefing guide that I'm working on for one of my flights next week. So next week starts off, I fly Monday and I fly Tuesday, and then Wednesday is a preparation day, Thursday the first 6 jets leave, and then Friday 10 jets leave, and I'm leaving on Friday. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some videos from today of flying at some attacks up on the east coast of Korea, which is actually pretty nice because it's on the, I guess it's on the Sea of Japan versus the Yellow Sea, which is the coast that we're on. We're on the west coast, but I was flying over on the east coast today, and it's real rocky and lots of beaches, and it's more of a tourist type area. So we were just blasting up the beaches, which are not much of a beach, but it's more like a real rocky coast, kind of like in Hawaii. So we went up and did low level, did an attack on a radar site, and then we flew in the mountains on the way back, all the way back. So I'll try to show you some of that. I'm going to copy some of my tapes from my heads-up display. So
look for 5851. 5851. It's really pretty out here.